Good morning. Happy Monday. Let me move the microphone a little bit closer. Okay, and let me set up my dashboard here. I hope your weekends were good and you're ready for the new week. There. Oh, apparently it auto loads the dashboard now. Great. All right, and you shall just go here. Hopefully I can read that. Okay, so yesterday I experimented with a 2 or so hour, I think it was around 2 hours. I called it a focus stream. So basically I just programmed on this project without really, without reading chat or commentating or doing anything else. I did archive that to YouTube, and that's, and it is obviously in the Twitch history, so you can go watch that to see what we did. Basically, all I worked on was registering this account with the username and password. So what we have up here is, first of all, in Homestead, I guess it's easier to see in this terminal. In Homestead, I have an actual a database set up. So I'm using Postgres. And we can actually see that we have a user in the database. And I did that through the form too. I then also sort of like added these buttons that were going to take us to the two routes for creating an account and logging in. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. I decided to use the authentication route that they gave us as part of the make auth routes, and that it kind of works, except it tries to do a redirect. So when I get information back, so I'm going to do B at A this time, display name, another account, and password like that. Oh no, 500 internal error. Okay. And now, well, apparently need to figure that out. The fun thing about this is that the main way to debug it, oh, this is just a generic server error. Well, that's lovely. It's always nice when I get those with no real errors coming out. But so my thought is to stop using the routes that were given to me and instead switch to making my own authentication sort of user route, which I think means that I don't necessarily need to use the users, like the make auth, if I'm doing like a view front end, but I haven't fully decided on that. Katali, good morning. Hello. So that's sort of like what I'm thinking about working on today, is continuing with this. Just sort of making the username and password its own. The form I think is done, and everything we need. What I guess like validation for this would be really good. So if I try to send and I don't have the right things, it won't send. It will just tell us, hey, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. But if I think I want to just switch over and start using my own route. And the easiest way to do that would be to start telling the front end. I could use the required tags on the forms. I could, yes. It doesn't look super nice, but it works. Required and type email. So if I already try to do something like this, I get must be an email. So I just need the required. Because if I do that, it tries to work. And I get this back. So the validation at the back end is working, and I can basically copy what they have, what like Laravel gave me for free. So yeah, I could. That's an easy one. I could just do that right now. So what is that? That is a create account view. Here's the form for these inputs. We can do required. Name is required. And password is required. So now, has it? Oh yes, and that was another thing that I realized. I can't run for some reason npm run watch inside of Vagrant, and I sort of forgot that this morning. I don't know why, but for some reason it isn't successfully watching the files for changes. So when I do change something, it doesn't recompile. I have to do this in my own directory. So npm run watch here works just fine. All right, so refresh, let's not preserve the log. So that didn't work. Yeah, that still tries to send. And of course, it's required. So mdn form required. Okay, the required attribute. So it's just required. Oh, is it considered not required because I start it with nothing, like an empty string? If I did null like that, would it be better? Yeah, okay. So now if I fill it out, okay, that was the problem. Okay, so yeah, empty string, even though it's falsy in JavaScript, is apparently not enough to cause this to fail. Which is strange because empty string with an email is not an email. Oh well, I'm not worried about that. Okay, so there's that form validation. Let's go into the back end and create a new route for this. Routes web. So what I'm thinking is these auth routes, I'm probably going to have to just change them because right now, either that or I just sort of like do my own thing, except yeah, I'm probably eventually just going to have to remove this. And then do my own auth route. So if I do something like this, route, do I I don't necessarily want to do the service or whatever it's called for users, because I don't want like the views to be routed in that way. So if I just do post slash, and I can set this up as like an API. So, okay, so we're going to post to slash users. That will be a create. And we want to go to a user controller at store. You need to be a string. All right, I think that's fine. I need to obviously create the user controller because we don't have one. Yeah, we need a user controller. So copy you. Okay, let's go back into Homestead Vagrant SSH. Okay, so that creates our user controller here. We're going to need the user. I guess this is just the request coming in. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna need to validate this too. So I'm gonna want to, well, let's say I don't pull this out. I'm gonna validate first. I think it's like this. Okay, so email is going to be required. Email unique. I think that's how it works. They have the auth controller they have right here is actually pretty good. So this is return a validator, make data unique for users. Okay, so they're basically going off the table users here. Laravel docs passport. Ooh, that sounds good. Well, this provides a full OAuth 2 server implementation. Is that really what I want? I guess like, so I saw this before and I couldn't believe that I really want to do this because isn't this too heavy for me? Yeah, issue access tokens, revoke access tokens, clients, and personal access tokens. It also has email password validation. I mean, that feels like it's just so much. What if I only want email password? Because I was thinking I was going to use, was it Socialite? Yeah, I was going to use Socialite here for GitHub authentication. I don't think this has username password. It's just consuming an OAuth server. Unless they have. There's so many. Okay. User and password? No. Not password. Local, maybe? No. Because like username and password authentication isn't that hard. It's just, you know, grab the password, hash it, store it in a database. And just validate it too. So I guess like it doesn't feel that it's worth pulling in like a big library just to do that. It feels better to pull in a library to do OAuth authentication. But also like depending upon how complex that is to set up. Yeah, I don't know. That's just like my thought. It might be me fighting against like the common usage for Laravel. But okay, so it's unique, and then you hand it that thing. That's actually pretty cool. So, also this syntax is nicer, I think, than the bar syntax that I was using. So, required string email. Basically, I could just grab these. What are you upset about? So unexpected that new user equals request validate to this. That ends. Do you need a return or like what's? Well, that's not helpful. Okay, so you're oh yeah, I should docs for hashing passwords. Yeah, I think they have that. Plus, I also noticed that they're using a facade for hash. I should turn that on. Okay, so they're using that. Let me just try continuing on. We'll see what happens. All right, so we have our new user object, and then we would want to store that. But for right now, I would probably want to just return just to make sure we really have what we think we have. New user. You're still upset. All right, let me try comment you out. Okay, so you're fine. So I did something terribly wrong in here. So, okay, request, run validate off of request, which I think exists. That's, I believe, a function. Then we open a table, or we open up an array here. So we have name, fat arrow, this array with a comma for the next one. All right, so what if I uncomment you, uncomment you? Oh, and suddenly you're not upset anymore. All right, cool. That's great. Yeah, I have no idea why that was telling me that it was bad. Now it's suddenly telling me it's good. Okay, well, I won't worry about it, I guess. And I'm going to return the new user. So I just want to send this and sort of get the response back. And I think it's already hooked up. I just need to go to API users, send a post to API users. So that's the wrong thing. You create account. We're going to go to /API users and send this user. All right, 422. What happened? Oh, the email has already been given. Okay, that's perfect. A@VB. And then here's our data. So the unique worked. So that's perfect. And we can take a look at our data back. And it just sort of gave us our data exactly back the way we expected it to. So now we can begin sort of updating this. So back to you, user controller. We want to hash this password. And let's go take a look at the documentation for hash. Something I've been thinking about is whether or not, where is it? Laravel docs. Hashing. Okay, so it's using bcrypt and Argon 2. The default hashing driver for your application is configured in a config hashing PHP configuration file. Okay, hashing. Okay, so we're going to use bcrypt. Oh, 10 rounds. That's so. Last I heard, 14 rounds was the good minimum. 10 are just too slow and too fast and too easy to break. I don't know the settings for Argon, but since it looks like we're using bcrypt, that means I can now use the hashing facade. Also, this is salted, right? How do I know? I think that a bcrypt usually salts, right? On its own. And also, are they using PHP bcrypt or npm bcrypt? PHP, because there's no dependency on bcrypt. Laravel hash salt. Yeah, I know the JavaScript version of bcrypt salts by default, and I do know that. I guess like I would really like it to just say, hey, we're gonna salt. So provide secure bcrypt hashing. Okay, so let's PHP bcrypt. Where's the document? Wait, so this is just actually part of PHP now. Okay. Note this will override and prevent a salt from being automatically generated. Okay, so that tells me that bcrypt is using salts on its own in PHP. So it would be nice if they mentioned that in a Laravel documentation, but please don't use PHP. But isn't it using bcrypt though behind the scenes? Well, I know that like bcrypt behind the scenes, as long as it really is bcrypt, that should be good. It's terrible. What are they using? Unless they're using like something really terrible. But it feels like if they're using the bcrypt that's already in there, it claims that it has salting on and that it's going to be a random salt each time, which that's decent enough for security. So I mean, the salt's not really meant to like be. The salt is really just meant to help make it take longer to break. Okay, so we want to come back to here. This is what we want to bring in the hash. And we can now do hash make. So I think we can do this for the password, and then I think what I can do is just say new user password equals hash. Is it 1 colon or 2 colons? Make, and then it's going to be new user password. So sort of like a little bit of overwriting here. They're going to return the new user. So save that. Let's try this again. And so here's the hashed password. And I think there's like a bcrypt.com. There's a checker. So I think it was this. What did I do? I already forgot the password I used. Let's try this again. Well, okay, so string is hash. I wish that it would tell me whether or not it was like what salt level it was. I can't remember. I used to know like more of the internals of bcrypt, and that was a long time ago, and I like forgot a bunch. So I think it's fine. I'll be able to like do the compare later, but so that will put it into the new user, and then we can save that new user. So I guess this will be, so just user, is it create? New user. I think it's just create like that. Although they're using, oh, interesting, fill. Oh, and this is also a function. I guess I don't really care about doing it that way. So I'm thinking, okay, user, we're going to create new user. Do I want the users to be able to update this automatically? Well, I guess I need the ability to do that. So I think this will work. So if I save you, oh, and I need something to return. So does this return anything? Whatever that returns. Okay, so it gave me a status 201. So created at, here's the email, the ID in the database, and the name, and the update. Okay, so it gives me the record in the database that was placed in. So I think that's good. And when I get that back and I get the 201, I can then redirect back to slash and just say, okay, we're good on the front end. So that would be on success, create account. Then we just console log. Oh, I need to look up how to redirect. View router. Okay, so router.push. Oh, this dot router.push and then a location. Like that. And the error should probably not just be an error. Like, we'll eventually want to do something with it. All right, so A at BBB, display name, new person, a password, and we hit it. And it sends it back here. That takes a little bit too long. That's the hashing. That's the synchronous hashing. That's happening. So in a real app, I would probably put like a little tiny spinner up. That would allow us to like basically say, hey, we're working, we're doing the thing. I don't have a spinner right now. But that might be something to sort of like do in the future. But now our account is created. Now, I don't think, I mean, creating an account is great. If I want this to be like multiple people, then that still won't help. That just creates an account. I guess what I can do is now have like a hello. Also, we have access to this now. So I need to be able to tell who, like the rest of the app, who is who this person is. So what way do I do messaging in Vue? Okay, so there's props. I could probably do custom events. I don't know if I necessarily want state management. Oh, it's going to be the state management, isn't it? Right, isn't it Vuex? Isn't that? Yeah, Vuex. So we need to set that up. A simple store pattern may be all you need. Okay, so maybe that's all I need. Okay, so when I create a new Vue app, I can just have data and pass it in an object. Oh, they're creating two Vue apps that's sharing the same object for data. Whenever source of truth is mutated, both the Vue apps will update their views automatically. Subcomponents within each of these instances would also have access via this root data. Yeah, so in store, I would basically have updaters. I wonder if I could do that. Or I wonder if that's a good idea, or if I just go straight to Vuex. I'm curious about how this looks in the app. So if I do, I'll just put it in here for right now. So here's this new, I'm gonna have to do the store inside of it. So I'll just put it right here. So const store equals, so this is an object. I wonder if I want to make this a closure. That actually might be better. Yeah, Vuex, I think the Vuex is the way I want to go. I want to experiment with this and just sort of see what it looks like. Because I think what I can do is do like user user is null. Let's say. I guess it wouldn't be null. It would be an entire thing where we have the name, which would be null. We have the email, which is null. What else did we get? Oh, I totally didn't. Oh, right, I forgot, because I didn't, I'm not actually storing this here. I would need to save that. I think I got the ID, the name, the email, and like they created and updated it back. I don't really care about these. I care about the email, name, and ID. So email, name, and ID, null. And then here is going to have, what was that? Just data, and you put that in there. And so theoretically, that means that now in our create account view, I can put right here, we're gonna get this back before we push. We're going to update that. So this is gonna look horrible. This dot, what was it, root? Dot data dot user. So I guess it's going to be, we either like completely replace it, which is what I'm sort of thinking of doing, and that's going to be response dot data. And then we push. So I create the account. Let's go to view. Let's see if it has the root data. I mean, so I have data at the app level. That's just the route. This doesn't have everything. So I probably didn't do it quite right, but also I don't really like the way that works. I guess theoretically in the other controller, I would have like a method that reads it, and I would essentially bind to root data user. So I could, in components in the top menu, essentially right here in nav, we'll just add this in. We'll just say a p tag and hello. Is it 1 or 2? I can't remember. Hello root dot data dot user. Is that how it works? Or do I have to scope it or do whatever else? Oh, that's literally that I need. Is it handlebar syntax? This is what happens when I don't read the, I don't go through like a tutorial, but I just sort of try to figure, oh, it's handlebar syntax. Just randomly try different things to sort of see where the edges, like see how things work. Okay, so hello, name, email, null, and ID null. So if I create an account, oh, I destroyed everything. So like meow at dog. So that does work. I mean, technically it works, and I would be able to access that. I mean, it feels pretty terrible because I'm mutating that object inside of create account. So create account now has to be aware of how that works, which seems terrible. I guess I could pass a function property into this, but I definitely think that Vuex is the way to go here. So let's do the real way and go with Vuex. All right, we're getting started. The simplest store. Okay, so we need to use Vuex. Wait, where's install? Is it installed already? No, we need to install. Just Vuex like that. Not that terminal. It's not you. Okay, I'm in Vagrant. I'm in here, so npm install Vuex. And while that happens, okay, so we'll need to pull that in. So we'll, I guess, is there any crazy import? No, it's just a normal import. So in app.js, Okay, so import Vuex from Vuex. Then we'll have a view.use Vuex. We're going to get rid of this entire store here, which means we don't have that either. Okay, const store equals new Vuex store. We have our state and our mutations, which are functions to manipulate the state. So it'll take the state and it can mutate it. So it's not like Redux, in which you have a reducer that's going to create a complete new one. This one allows you to mutate it. Now you can access the state object as store.state and trigger a state change with the store.commit method. Well, that's great. How do I pass data in? Would that be like a second? I guess. All right, so store is theoretically going to be on this. All right, let's try it. Let's see what happens. I probably want to throw this into its own file, but yeah, because like the mutations is going to get a little bit crazy eventually, maybe. But I'm willing to like leave them there. So, and we just need to export the store. Okay. So in JS, we have components. Let's add store.js. All right. So it's just going to be Vuex. So import, I need to leave this on the left. Okay, import Vuex from. I guess I could just do an export const store equals new Vuex dot store. Okay, so we'll have our initial state. So I'm thinking we'll have the user, right? So we'll have a user. And the user will, the only things we're really going to track here is going to be the email, null, the name, null, the ID, which is null. Okay, I don't need you. So that's our state. Then we're going to have our mutations. And so this is going to be an object with the functions that will update the state. So I guess we could have something like set user, which will bring in a state and a user. What does set user take in? So state, which is all of that thing, and a payload. That's what it is. Okay, so it is a state and a new user. And all I need to do is sort of update that. So we're just going to state.user equals new user. Okay, I think that works. Then we'll come back to app and we'll pull this file in. So import, I should probably do this. Okay, import store from store. And then down here, oh, I don't add it to the new view. It's just exists now everywhere. Is that so? Okay, so if I refresh you, you're unhappy. Vuex must call view.use Vuex before creating a store instance. Oh, interesting. So I can't do this. I would need to do something like this. Oh, I don't like that. So let me take a look at this here. You are just going to be the object that stores this. So I'm thinking remove you, just make you a plain object. We don't need Vuex. We're just going to get the sort of like the new store. Then an app, we're going to get that store out here. And we do that. And now we're going to have new Vuex dot store pass in store. Hello. Where did that come from? Oh, I guess it's the root. Well, I removed that root, and apparently that exists still. That's interesting. I need to remove that. Oh, it's just hello. That's part. This part doesn't exist anymore. All right, so we have you. Vuex base state. So here's this object right here. In the create account, so we were doing this entire push right here. What I want to do is instead this dot is it going to be this dot store that commit? I don't think so. Is it this dot root? I just have access to store. It's like a global now? Wait a second. Is that true? If it's global, then I could just access it here, right? No. Or is it really this? Wait, where does that come from? View component, create account. Create account.view. Low key, yeah. All right, what? That can't be this. Whoa, where did this come from? How did I get that? Yeah, also, I installed this thing here. Theoretically, you can, let me see, manage extension. Where is it? Twitch commands. You can do bang highlight and then a line number, or bang line number. And that will cause a line to be highlighted. I think I have to be in like a programming file so for it to work. Let's try it. I have it connected. So line 54. Oh, I didn't. Well, that's too bad. I was really hoping that would work. It's not live share. No, I don't want it to stop listening. Well, I had tested it a while ago and it worked, and now it doesn't work. That's really sad. Also, is there anything I need to do, like reactivate it? Yes, it doesn't specify the file. Let me try. Oh. Don't save any autoload. Okay. Twitch highlighter. Focus on highlights view. Highlights. So there's no highlights right now. DQ Kev, store should be accessible as this.store. Okay, so that's maybe what I want. Also, you are better now? Yes. So this, so it'll be this.store.commit. Oh, but I don't get like the sort of like the auto complaint. Do I prefer? I prefer Visual Studio Code over PH. Well, any of the Jetstorm products really, but that's mostly for like how it looks. I have a lot of trouble like reading the Jetstorm projects. Thank you. But that's just my thing. So this is, I have no idea where I went. This is debugging for highlights. That's interesting. You did similar syntax hiding as we. Yeah, I don't think I've customized the highlighting on this account yet. I've used Dracula before. It's pretty good. I've also used, now that we're using Vue, I should use Sarah Drasner's Owl, I think Night Owl one. All right, where was I? We just sort of, oh, here's the highlights. Also, there is no data provided. All right, well, I don't, I'll probably have to reconfigure this at some point in time. Because it claims it's connected to chat. But it's just, yeah. That's sad. All right. Okay, moving on. I'll put it onto my to-do to sort of play with that later. Let's email password. What was I doing? We were going to do this .tor commit. The name of that is going to be set user. So set user. And then I think what I want to do is have essentially just do, we're going to extract out the email, the ID, and the name from response.data. And then we're going to have this will just be the payload, and it has the email, ID, and name. So theoretically, that'll work. So new email at law.com, my name, cannot read property commit of undefined. So store is undefined, unfortunately. All right, let's debug log, debugger. Also, that happened. Okay, so here we are in a debugger. I want to see if the store exists. So it's undefined. Off of this, I don't see a store in there. Did I say view use? Let's take a look. So I have in app.js, I have this view use Vuex. So I do have that. And then I bring in the store into this, and in view, I'm able to see the base state has the store. Now, the documentation, is it a property that's coming in? It's not very clear. Try this lesson on Scrimba. Okay, we'll just go take a look. Did you pass the store to the view component? No, but it didn't tell me I needed to, so I thought maybe it was being a global. All right, let's see how it does. Oh, is this? It's creating like a global data first,
and welcome to this
and it's going to make
tutorial. Vuex is a state management pattern and
I just want to see the end result.
Vue.js apps. By understanding Vuex and enforcing.
Really, was that sending audio out? I have my audio muted, I think. Did I pass the store to the view component? Also, no, I don't have that in, but I like This is all it says I need, right? After installing Vuex, let's create a store. It's pretty straightforward. Just provided an initial state object and some mutations. So I have this. Now you can access the state object as store. Oh, this store. Okay, I didn't think about that. So am I going to get it off of... So pass it like the router object. So I could put, okay, yeah. So I'm going to need to put in the view store, Vuex store. I guess actually I just put this right here, don't I? Then I'm going to get it off of root, I think. I can refresh this. Okay, so off of this. Hey, now this .store exists. So commit exists because of that. Type, payload, and options. So that is exactly how to do it. So if I then hit play, we come back to here in view, the Vuex. Yeah, so now we have this. This worked. So that was exactly how to do it. Thank you, everybody. Sort of like what I get for not actually reading the documentation, but just sort of playing around with it. But I won't forget that now. That's the good thing. So if I want to now not show the create account or log in, if I'm logged in and have this sort of user object here, we need to go to the top menu, and I'm gonna need, like, I think is it a vif? This can be a vif for these. So let me just try this. Conditionally renders the element based on the truthiness of the expression value. So vf equals store dot name. So if that exists, if not, yeah, you're right. If not if. Is there a not if? Also, is there a list of all those? I guess it would be under the API. They're directives, right? So I just need the directive list. Directives. Okay, that's not helpful. Here it is. I was checking to see if there was a v like not if, but it looks like this is the proper way to do it. All right, so hit refresh. It doesn't have anything in there, so these display. So I'm going to create an account. I'm going to add another one. Create the account. Right, I have the debugger, which I need to remove. That did not remove. I didn't save. I didn't save. All right. Oops. Let's also remove that debugger since that's kind of annoying. All right, so save you. Everything should be good. Refresh. Now, ooh. Okay. Oh, dollar store. Okay, so create account. Do this again. And so there's our payload. Store.state. Okay. Store.state. Okay. We'll try this again. Refresh. Trying again. So I'm creating so many things in a database. All right, what did I do wrong this time? View. Where's the thing where I can focus on it? So top menu. I mean, so we know that the payload is this now. The state isn't mutating, I guess. Yeah, that's probably true. Although the mutation is here, right? Oh wait, is this? This is okay. The mutation is this. I was looking at this, and I wasn't really paying attention here. So the mutation hasn't taken effect. What did I do wrong? Now you can access the state object as stored. Okay, so this mutation. So I have set user mutation. Here's the state. So state.user equals new user. That like reset it, but didn't do it properly. You are accessing state.name. Should it be state.user.name? Yes, you are correct, but also I don't think that solves the problem. So state.user.email equals, I think I could just do this. Email, ID, and name. So email, state.user.id equals ID, state.name equals name. Okay, will this work any better? Also, let's double check that top menu here. So store.state.user.name. Refresh, create an account. So this mutation happened? Oh, look. That's weird. I clicked off it and then clicked onto it again, and now the state is this. So it looks like the state did update. Also, it looks like I updated the name incorrectly. Which is why that's still null. Yeah, state.user. Unfortunately, the one thing I was using to check. Okay, so create an account. It needs to be an email. And it disappears. All right, perfect. So I could, at this point in time, these are the Vuefs to show the create and login. I would then have another one, so router link to I mean, would this really link me to like a log out button? That doesn't seem normally. It seems like I would just it would just have a button. But let's just try this. If I just have like a p tag, or maybe like a span tag for right now, just to keep it all in line. And I'm just gonna say logged in as. Okay, this is gonna be store.state.user.name. So save you, refresh, logged in, right? You need to be a vif. So you're going to be if store.state.user.name. Refresh you, email, so new email at blah. We'll just say Berserker and so we get that. And then I could have another button here that would for log out, and probably so I'll need to like think about like where I would want to put the logout function. Like, would I want that on Vuex? It doesn't really feel that I want that kind of API logic on Vuex. I could have just like a helper file that I pull in. That might be good, sort of like that, and I can pass in things through there. But those are all things I'll sort of be figuring out next time. For right now, let me close all of these windows down. For right now, we've updated all of this. So what did we do? We using our own auth route and set up Vuex. So I'll push that up. Let me share the code with you. Guess it's none of those. Okay, so this is where all the code is living. I am streaming on the mornings, sort of like this. I call this the warming up before work, or like programming before work series. It's basically me programming for like an hour and a half on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I'll continue doing this on Wednesday. I'm thinking about adding some other streams like later, like other times in a week. I'm not really sure about the times then. I also have a Sunday morning stream as well for a few hours where I pair program. Currently, I am working on this project idea holder, and that's in PHP, Laravel, and Vue, but that's only because I am also learning that for work. Eventually, I'll get back to running with Rust again, but that might take a while. I don't have anything else, so I'm gonna archive this stream up to YouTube after I get off of here. But if you've liked what you see and you want to get notifications for when I go online in the future, there's a couple different ways. First of all, obviously you could follow here. The archives are on YouTube, so you can follow or subscribe on YouTube if you want to just watch those. Or you can follow me on Twitter, and I tweet out like usually the night before when I'm going to be going live, at least for the morning streams. With that, I don't really think I have anything else. So I hope that you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll do the same, and I'll see you next time.